So, thoughts on the song? Be brutally honest. Oh,
Yeah, no, good. Good stuff. What's that?
nice one.
What fucking noise is that?
What are you talking about?
Stop touching things, because it makes a fucking weird noise.
Is it this?
Yes.
That's me moving
Sounds
the screen.
like
Sorry.
a sex doll having sex with another sex doll.
Hey guys, welcome to another new episode of Mattie and Liamo. We're back. We're bigger and prouder than ever. So today we're wearing our DC pride and love on the sleeve right here, and we're doing a defense video of Batman vs Superman. So strap in because you're gonna bleed.
Great intro.
Thanks. I was nervous because I haven't had a lot of practice recently, but I was able to handle it.
I could sense your nerves, but it was adorable. So yeah,
So
we're back.
Liamo.
And like
Yeah.
the movies we were mad into, banging on about back in the day, the likes of your Deadpool and what have you. And like these things come and go, and no videos. We didn't hook up and say,
videos.
here's what I thought of Deadpool. Didn't happen. And that's just one example. But we're making up for it now, because there are things that need to be said about Batman vs Superman. And all you fuckers out there who criticise that film are in for a bollocking.
A serious bollocking. You mentioned
Accuse
the
them
crack.
back. Yes, cracked. Cracked did a video about it.
And I would like to respond to Mr. Jeremy Jans. It's interesting because kind of feels the same way I felt after my first viewing, and then after my second viewing I had quite a different opinion of the film. But his main thing was Batman vs Superman is a movie that you would enjoy if you were drunk. That it's a spectacle, but there's no substance, and it was a mess.
I think Kevin Smith said something very similar. High on spectacle,
Possibly.
low on heart. Which is true.
Yeah.
And it's not like a scathing criticism. It's just
No.
a label. This is the kind of film it is. It's a high spectacle film like 300. Or
Yeah.
I suppose Watchmen. It's kind of similar in a way. It's a visual feast,
Oh.
but not a lot of heart.
Interesting that the two movies you mentioned were both Zack Snyder films.
Pure coincidence.
So I'd like to defend a couple of things, Liam. The plot holes people keep pointing out. People keep saying it's full of plot holes. Like people fall in and stumble into situations that just happen to resolve themselves without any explanation whatsoever.
Example.
Someone said that how did Lex Luthor know that if he puts Zod's body into the thing, into the ship, that it would create this monster that we know as Doomsday?
Yeah.
I thought very clear from the film that, you know, he does say to the ship, "I will like teach me everything."
Exactly. Yeah. And time has passed
No.
between that scene and the next.
Thank you. But to most people, they're like, well, you know, how did he know that cutting his hand would turn it into... And well, it's all explained if you know, you watch it, it says, you know, he says, teach me everything. They teach him.
Yeah.
You know, he learns from the ship and sorted.
These are tedious complaints. Fucking tedious. If you're going to see
Yeah.
a film like this, and you're going to nitpick over stupid little fucking science fiction details, you can fuck right off, okay?
Yeah.
This film isn't for you, pal.
I get really annoyed when people are like, oh, you know, they didn't explain it. Well, they don't have to explain everything. Not everything
And the
has to
reason
come
is
with
because
the fucking...
your average audience member should have a brain. You don't need everything explained to
Yes,
us.
they should. But also, like, I heard a great thing someone put up. DC Movie News. It's a weekly YouTube show I watch. It's all about obviously DC movies.
Yep.
And the chap said, like, when you went to see Star Wars the first time in cinema, you didn't know, you know, where the Empire came from. You didn't know anything about Darth Vader. You didn't know anything about how the Death Star was built. You know, and nobody complained about, well, you know, how did they build the Death Star? They built it.
Exactly.
Something happened before the movie started that built it. You don't see Lex Luthor sitting down and the thing saying, "Oh, you know, if you cut your hand and you put it on top of Zod's body, it's going to turn him into a monstrosity. It's going to turn him into Doomsday." Yeah, they don't tell you that in the movie, but because he says, "Teach me everything," we cut to something else that furthers the plot, and then you come back and you see him doing it. Can you not put together in your head, hang on, he must have learned that while we were watching something else happen?
Yeah, we don't need a 20-minute scene of Lex Luthor poring over the fucking instruction manual for that spaceship.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? Troubleshooting on there's glitches here and need to get me head around. No, working out fucking science, a blackboard where formulas and equations. We don't need that.
It's
Also, I got the impression from everything I've seen was that these ships do most of the thinking for you. Like, he is a genius, right? But I got the impression you don't need to be a genius to get shit done on this ship. The ship helps you. The ship holds your hand.
What also bothered me, something that bothered me, and this goes back to Man of Steel, is that people I think that the movie has its bad points and it has really bad editing in places. Do you know what I mean? And they could have taken about half an hour out of the movie, I think. Like plot points that weren't very necessary, but didn't take away from the film, but didn't add to it. But like people turn around, but you don't need everything explained. Like in Man of Steel, someone turned around and told me like, "Oh, it's stupid how he gets the suit," and I was like, "How is it stupid?" They're like, "Oh, the ship just made it, so his dad knew 33 years in advance that he was gonna need this suit," and I was like, "This is a fucking alien spaceship. Who's to say that when he put that fucking key in, Jor-El didn't program the ship to be like, oh yeah, build him a fucking Kryptonian clothes, build him clothes from Krypton."
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. The ship is capable of making clothes. It's not even particularly outstanding clothes from Krypton. It seems to me like everybody was wearing this shit there.
Yeah.
Anybody that was going to get knocked around. It's really strong stuff. But it's not like they're thinking on the ship, right, we need a super suit. They're not thinking super suits. They're just thinking suits. It's like a fucking NASA shuttle having a fucking astronaut suit hanging on the wall. Imagine they had the capability to produce this from like Star Trek.
That thing. And also I hate the fact that people are angry. I've seen people who are really angry about the nightmare scene in the desert scene. Now, I will say, I feel that scene was a little bit out of place and just kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't really further the plot of the story along, other than to say, look, this is what's going to happen in Justice League. This is something that's happening in the future. I think it would have been a much better post-credit scene. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see
I
that.
think it could have been good as that.
I watched a great video yesterday about it though. This guy, I can't remember his name, and his theory is that whole sequence, none of it was a dream. Even the desert stuff. That it's basically this has taken place at some point in the future when Superman has gone off the fucking deep end, presumably because Lois Lane's been killed. And what's happening is the Justice League, who are a league at this point, decide, right, the only way to fucking prevent this is now we need to send the Flash back to warn Batman that fucking Lois Lane's about to get whacked. But whatever happens, the Flash goes back too far. He goes back to a point where Batman doesn't know anything about the Justice League. He doesn't know the Flash. He doesn't know all of these people. So it makes no sense. So it's just like this weird fucking hallucinogenic bleeding acid trip. He's like, what the fuck was that all about? Which is how I felt watching it. What the fuck was that all about? But when I heard this theory, mind blown.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was about to say. It's clearly the Flash has travelled back in time and has shown Bruce what is coming in the future. That he has to stop this now. And that furthers the plot in that, which actually now that I think about it, I said it didn't, but as I'm putting it together in my head, it does. Because it's kind of telling Bruce he has to save Lois.
But the thing about it is, you have a theory about it being just a dream, or an actual vision of the future, or a hallucination that's given to him by a third party. Whether you believe any of those theories or don't even have a theory, can you not just fucking enjoy the spectacle?
Yeah.
Just fucking sit back and enjoy it. All you know is Bruce Wayne snaps out of it. You don't have to understand.
Not everything has to be. Not everything has to be. When did we get to the point where everything has to be explained in films?
When the internet got popular. Because you mentioned the Death Star a while ago, right? Nobody asked how is that possible. Now the difference is when we first seen the Death Star there was no internet. But now, right, with fucking Star Killer in The Force Awakens, the internet fucking exploded with questions about that. How could you build something that big? I'm like, are you for fucking real?
How could you travel through hyperspace?
Yeah. They literally like have a workforce of billions. Do you know what I mean? And unlimited fucking funds.
And I also think it's real funny that someone, I don't know if you ever listen to Hollywood Babble on podcast, Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman. And Kevin Smith was like, nobody ever asked questions about. He was talking about something similar. Like no one asks questions about movies, but now everyone's taking movies apart. He's like, no one asks how did Han Solo understand Chewbacca, and then Ralph Garman's like, well, people should ask how fucking Chewbacca understood Harrison Ford. It's fucking brilliant. But yeah, I just hate the fact that they're nitpicking every single part of this film to make it like seem like it doesn't make any sense. But it does if you pay attention to it. And sorry, one final thing, if I can prick in again. There's complaints online that Superman didn't see the bomb in your man's wheel, wheelchair. One, maybe he just didn't look for a bomb because he assumed this chap is not going to blow anyone up.
I have two theories. Basically, that Lex did a really good job of encasing it, in lead or whatever. And they didn't need to show it to us, because when you start giving us things like that in the film, people question it. People are like, oh, the whole fucking not being able to see through lead thing. Lame. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, my second thing is, he wasn't... We've been shown that he learns to tune things out. He's always tuning things out. His dad taught him how to do that, because it's the only way you could fucking stay sane, right? And I just took it that in a situation where he doesn't think there's any danger, he tunes out all that background shit. In fact, I think there's a scene that's been deleted where something to do with trying to find his mom, and he basically flies up and he listens out for his mom's voice and heartbeat and all this. But what's happening is he listens to all of the horror in the world. He hears all the screaming, all the crying, and it's devastating to him. And it was just too dark of a scene, so they cut it out. But that's an example of he's not listening all the time. He's not listening and feeling all the time. He focuses. He wasn't focusing on the wheelchair. Why would you?
Oh, but that's an interesting point, because it's a chap called John Schnepp. He's a filmmaker, and he's also he's on the Collider Movie Talk podcast. And he was talking about, he's saying, Zack Snyder clearly doesn't understand the character, because Superman, he'd never do that. He would never turn it off. He would want to help him. It's like, yeah, but he can't. So, I mean, like, he could be in South America stopping someone from dying in an earthquake. He can't literally be in China at the exact same time. I mean, I know he's fast, but you would assume that if he's doing one thing and someone shoots, then, at point blank range, he's not going to be able to stop it. Do you know what I mean? So he can't stop everything.
If Superman was as all fucking omnipotent as these fans want him to be, it would be incredibly tedious to watch. If Superman was unstoppable, unbeatable, always heard everything that was dangerous, always saw everything that was dangerous, was always ready for every situation, I wouldn't watch that film.
No, neither would I. One other thing that bothers me is people are complaining about the Martha scene, which has become famous.
I loved it.
I know you loved it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I loved it. For one thing, it had never clicked with me before that their mothers had the same name.
Me too. Right? And I've been reading comics for ages and I never figured it out.
But for another thing, you think about Bruce Wayne's state of mind when he was doing that, okay? He'd been building up to it for months, and he's finally getting to do it, finally getting to kill this guy, and you can still see right up to the last minute he still fucking wants to kill this guy. And there's literally nothing in the world that could stop him. Nobody intervening, nothing that could be said. But then just out of the blue, fucking Superman says, Martha. And Bruce is like, what? It stops him in his tracks. Do you know what I mean? It completely fucking cuts out the rage, because he's blown by it. That's how I felt anyway.
Yeah.
And it's literally the only thing that could have stopped it.
Completely agree with you. Completely agree. It literally makes Batman realise at that exact moment that he is turned into a person that killed his parents. He is now that person. He's a murderer. He's taken people's lives and he doesn't care about it anymore. And he has become the exact thing that he didn't want to be when he started fighting crime. The thing that he wanted to stop, he has become. And that's set up all throughout the movie. Near the start of the movie, Alfred talks about the Brandon, and he says, what, new rules? So he's saying, this isn't the way we did it before. Why are we doing it this way now? And he's like, well, they're criminals. Pull one up, and then he's like, this is what turns good men cruel. And at the end of the movie, when he's standing over him with the spear, and he's cutting his face, he didn't have to cut his face. That's another thing I thought was very, very powerful, very important, is the fact that he's torturing him. He's not just killing him. If he just stuck it in his face and killed him, you'd say, right, he had a mission, he completed the mission, maybe he didn't want to do it, but he's torturing Superman at that point. He's cutting his face, he's trying to hurt him, and then Superman says Martha.
It just makes him fucking reevaluate things.
And people are saying, why didn't he say Mom or say my mother? It's like, well, Mom.
Well, Batman doesn't know who Superman's mother is.
He could have just been like, well, your ma's dead because she died on Krypton. because he doesn't know, that Superman has a human mother. He just knows,
No, he doesn't know that whole history. And also the whole the origin scene, the parents getting shot in the alley, the complaints about that. Oh, we have to fucking see this again. Well, I mean, that happens in a lot of these superhero films. How many times have we seen Uncle Ben dying?
Yeah.
The thing is, I really think Snyder possibly wouldn't have shown that alleyway scene, only for the fact that it leads up to this third act reveal.
Yeah. I think it was really well done. I really liked that.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it humanized his parents a bit more.
And I like the fact that Thomas Wayne went to try and stop the guy. So I mean, he's trying to protect his family, and I mean, people are complaining about that, but that's taken pretty much directly from Dark Knight Returns. Like, that's in the comic. He does it. He tries to stop your man. Anything else that bothered you about people's criticism?
The only thing I didn't like about the film was the dream sequences weren't obviously dream sequences, and they were a little bit jarring. You're watching it and you're going, hold on, what the fuck is going on here? Especially when you see him in the desert with his desert gear. You're like, where the fuck is he? You know what I mean? And the forced scene of the film, where he's basically retelling the whole his parents getting killed, and this is him in the graveyard, and he goes running off, and Alfred goes chase them. You're watching this, and you've no idea it's a dream. And then all this shit happens, and the bats are flying around him, and he starts floating up. And I remember I was in the cinema, and you could literally see everybody in the audience like this, just looking at each other, kind of saying, is this the kind of shit we're going to have to soak up for the next 3 hours? This kind of unbelievable nonsense. And then fucking Bruce Wayne starts talking, and he says, the dream always ends this way, or something like that. And you're like, right, it's a dream. The bats weren't actually lifting the fucking little boy. It's the kind of thing where on second viewing it doesn't bother you as much, but I still think if I was in charge of editing and directing, I would have started the dialogue a little bit earlier, so people were aware it was a dream before the bat started lifting.
Yeah.
One thing I loved was the giant bat that attacks him in one of the dreams.
Yeah.
That was deadly. That was proper
That was good. Yeah.
horror that you do see sometimes in the comics. Was it the Frank Miller one in particular? There was a lot of that, a lot of symbolism with a fucking monstrous bat.
Yeah, coming through the window and stuff like that. Yeah. I like that too. I like the idea that, being Batman isn't something he wants to do. Perhaps it's almost like it's tortured him that he did all of this stuff in his past.
And
that,
of course.
The fact that he's at the grave and he touches the grave and then, the bat comes out and it's like, well, the only reason I did this is because my parents died. What if my parents hadn't died? Would I still be this type of person, or would I be happy? That kind of thing. But there was things like I'd say I loved 90% of the film, but just 10% that I didn't enjoy, which is being the editing. I didn't like the whole thing in Africa. I feel that they could have easily just gone with, Superman caused this destruction in Metropolis, and that's why people are that's why people are nervous about him. That's why that kind of thing. If they just stuck with that simple little thing, I think it would have been, much better. I mean, I loved the fight scenes in it. That scene in the warehouse, fucking amazing, absolutely amazing. The start of the movie where they show the Metropolis thing from Bruce Wayne's perspective is incredible.
I love
absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the first 10 or 15 minutes, fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I'd hoped for when I seen that first trailer where you see Bruce looking up, holding the little girl.
One thing that I found very interesting, Samantha came to see the film with me, obviously, and she was a little bit, she wasn't very fond of it. She was saying, like, they have all the fightings at the end. She's like, so you have to sit through like 2 hours to get to the fights. Like, why wouldn't they just put one in the middle and one at the end? Which I agreed with. I was like, they could have spaced out the fight between Superman and Batman. I mean, stick that in the middle of the film. Have the first half be the build up, stick that in the middle, and then towards the end, have them kind of come together to fight Doomsday.
But I would wonder though if that's a response to the last 2 years of people saying it better not be Batman versus Superman for the first 10 minutes, and then the rest of the film is them working together to defeat a common enemy. Because everybody was predicting that. I thought maybe it would have been the halfway point.
That's true.
But it wasn't. It was like the final act where they eventually actually fucking fight.
Yeah. But in hindsight, I don't know. I think the movie that we got, I love, right? But I think that they would have been much better served if they had just made a Batman and Superman movie and called it World's Finest or something like that, and had Batman, not have the trust of Superman, have him kind of looking into Superman, but then have him kind of slowly come to the side of Superman by showing Superman saving people, and then maybe they have one encounter where they kind of clash, but they work shit out, and they're investigating Luthor, something like that. I would have done it that way, but I understand why they
Yeah.
went with the clash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, make it more like I suppose Marvel handled.
I think Captain America and Iron Man.
Was it
Avengers.
the second Avengers?
First,
Avengers?
yeah, where they're kind of on the quid jet and they're having the disagreement. He's like, take off the suit of armor. What are you? And they kind of get into it a bit, but then they work shit out because something happens.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe if it had been a tad more like that, where it's more of a kind of a personality conflict rather than a straight out I hate you, you hate me, and then the first time we meet, it's a fucking battle royale. Because the thing with that is, we never wanted to see just a physical fight. Because people were saying, number one, here's a complaint that fucking people always have as well. Superman would smash Batman. I don't even know why they're making this film. Superman would kill Batman in the blink of an eye. But the thing about it is, he wouldn't. Superman wouldn't do that. That's his fucking weakness. That's why Batman has the upper hand. Because Superman wouldn't.
And also, he even says in the trailer for the film, if I wanted it, you'd be dead already. But I don't want to kill you. Batman is the antagonist. He's the bad guy of this movie. Batman is the bad guy of this movie. A lot of it is people not understanding the character. You know what I mean? Like they think Batman is this great guy. But if you follow the comics, which I hate saying that, like if you're a comic book reader, but if you are, you know that Batman's a fucking dickhead. A lot of the time, he's a complete arsehole to everyone, even the Robins. Do you know what I mean? Like he's had 4 Robins. One of them died. Sorry, one of them quit because he couldn't handle working with him anymore, and the other not talking to him anymore because he was so secretive that he almost got them all killed. So it's like, if you follow it, you know these things, but you don't. So, but then again, movies shouldn't be made for people who only follow comic books. So at the same time,
no, definitely not. So. Yeah. I'd never use that excuse or that reason rather, in an argument with anybody who doesn't actually read the comics, because people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that you have to do a load of studying before you watch a film.
Yeah, recommended reading. The reading list as you walk into the cinema. And my favourite thing about the whole movie was Wonder Woman.
I heard a lot of people saying that. That's a stretch.
Oh my god.
I don't know about a favourite thing in the whole movie. She was good.
Oh my god.
Especially when she became Wonder Woman.
I loved it. Yeah, no, not her as her regular self. That kind of stuff, that wasn't very interesting. But as Wonder Woman, oh my god, she was fucking perfect.
Class.
My favourite moment is when she gets punched and she fucking rolls on the dirt and she gets her face sliding off the ground. And she just rolls over and she looks. She just has this big smile on her face and she just hops straight back up and gets back into it. And you're like, yeah, that's class.
Although, when she's just, Diana Prince?
Yeah.
She was very like Elektra in Daredevil, which I had only just watched. So it was like, oh, holy shit, she's so like Elektra. Tall, skinny, well reared. Do you know what I mean? One of the annoying cunt.
Yeah. Really? See, I didn't see her as an Elektra type. I saw her more as I saw her as someone who's putting on an act. Do you get me? She was acting. She was pretending to be the Prince.
So
also, I love the line that she had. That's her Clark Kent. And I love the line that she had in the movie where it's like, that's from my... Superman's like, that's from my world. That thing is from my world. And she turns, so she's like, don't worry, I've killed things from other worlds before. I was like, which I
that was badass.
I like the little world building things they did.
One thing a lot of people had trouble with was where Lex introduces Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne and makes like such a big deal of it. And it's like, we all know who Bruce Wayne is, but fucking Clark Kent is just some reporter from some poxy newspaper. A junior reporter. It's like, introducing these two people is not a big deal. It should be a big deal to Clark Kent. Holy shit, I'm getting to meet multi-billionaire Bruce Wayne. But I kind of watched that scene and just thought, that's just Lex being a fucking nut. He probably introduces everybody that way.
Yeah.
What
did you think of Lex?
He bothered me a little bit, but not too much. He was a bit jokery.
Yeah.
He
was putting on the ledger, yeah.
Also, I don't blame him for that. It's not as if he did that off his own fucking back. That's the direction he was given. People are criticising him as a person. Eisenberg. It's not his fucking fault. He brought the Eisenberg.
Snyder.
The awkwardness and the stammering and what have you. And he added a bit of Heath Ledger as well, which obviously wasn't. This isn't fucking whose line is it anyway. It was in the script.
Yeah. interestingly, the two scenes that I loved the most with him in it, and I didn't like him. I found him to be quite irritating at points, and I think that they would have been much better getting an older Lex Luthor. I think I would have preferred someone like a Cranston or someone like that. Joe, I think would
Well,
make a great Lex Luthor. Tom Hanks.
you're probably
Yeah,
fucking spot on. Yeah,
I think he'd be good
yeah,
at it.
that could work.
But the two scenes that I enjoyed with Lex, one, the scene in the library when he's giving the speech,
Yes.
and you see his little tics and you see the fact that he's proper fucking mental coming out at that point. You see the fact that he's
Yeah.
insane. It's coming out and
Yeah.
when he's talking there. And the final scene in the jail cell I liked, not because of his performance, but because it showed Batman's change and evolution. He has the brand, but he doesn't use it. And also the fact that he references the God is dead, Superman's dead,
Yeah.
and there's more out there, and he
rang the bell.
knows we exist, and he's coming. That
Yeah, that was
made
a
me
nice
very
touch.
excited because you're talking dark side. Also, you're talking about the fact that they were watching, and they saw Superman, and they knew that he would be a threat to what they had planned because he's
Yeah.
so powerful. But he's dead now; they've nothing to worry about anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it's an integral scene.
Yeah.
You know, whether you like how the scene
But-
played out or not, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the scene that's really ties it all together.
But
Ties the sequence together, I suppose.
the snot
Yeah.
coming down his nose. Yeah, that I wasn't really.
Oh, do you know what I liked as well? You mentioned the library scene. I don't know whether it was this one or an earlier one where I think he's talking to the senator or whatever she is, and he says
Yeah.
something like, "Do you know what the greatest law in America is?" And he gets cut
Yeah.
off, so something interrupts him or whatever, and then he's saying it again half an hour later in the film, and it was
Yeah.
like my first impression was they probably had that same bit of dialogue in both of those scenes, and they figured which one will it play out better in, and they cut most of it out
Yeah.
or whatever. For whatever reason, these things happen all the time in films where people will say the same thing twice in the space of 90 minutes. But my second impression, when I thought about it, was like, no, it's just him genuinely saying the same thing twice. Because it's, you
Yeah.
ever get somebody and they have a really, well, what they think is a good joke in their head, and they try to shoehorn it into a conversation, and somebody interrupts
Yeah.
them, or somebody drops a cup on the other side of the room, and they're like, oh fucking good joke. So then a few minutes later, they try again. That's what
Yeah.
it felt like.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
He'd probably been
But-
practicing that fucking greatest line in America speech in the mirror all day while he was fucking shaving. You know?
Yeah, he had a plan for
You know,
the whole
the
time he was
greatest
supposed to
line in
meet her.
America.
But I like that scene as well, actually, now that you mention it, because when he's tapping the table
Yes.
and she grabs his hand and she stops him, and you can see how uncomfortable it makes him for someone to touch him and for someone to control him.
Oh, he's clearly autistic.
Yeah, that lack of control and talking and beating the shit out of him and stuff like that. Like, he's
Yep.
proper fucked up in the head, which I think a lot of people didn't pick up on. I think a lot of people just saw him as, but he's just weird. I don't want to see him back in like the Justice League.
I kind of would. I'd like to see him back, and I'd like to see my theory, and I think a few other people's theory as well, that he is son of Lex. The real Lex will come out of the shadows. He's not dead.
Yeah.
He faked his own death, and it's Bryan Cranston, and he has to come out of hiding because of something that happens with his son. Maybe he's the only one who can stop his son, because like Lex Luthor was always like a criminal mastermind. Well, I never really saw him as evil. So if his
Yeah,
son is
he's-
a bit tapped in the head and he does something that actually ends up being very evil, like the destruction of the planet, then
Yeah.
Daddy Lex could come out and say, "Where's
Give it
Lois?
over. That'd be amazing. Imagine Cranston just coming out of shadows like, give it over, you.
Give her up."
So, overall, your rating of the film, Liam?
A good solid 8.5 stars. Yeah,
That's pretty much what I would give it to, 8.5. I'm
because
very
like
excited.
you have to
Sorry.
judge it on what it is, and that is a fucking visual feast.
Yeah.
It's a spectacle, and it delivered.
Yeah, it really
It
did.
gave you the feels.
Oh dear, Jesus! Don't get me started on Superman dying. Spoilers, but that was real sad. But I'm very excited for Justice League. Seeing the cameos from the other Justice League members was very cool. I can't wait to see what happens next. I am so excited for Suicide Squad.
Yes. Yeah, dying for that.
Those trailers are amazing, and I've seen a lot of people talk about reshoots. Suicide Squad is doing reshoots. They're adding more comedy. I'm like, but they only started the reshoots like last month. I think it was the Thursday or Wednesday before the trailer dropped. They started doing reshoots, and people are
Yeah.
like, "Oh, they added all the jokes. They're the jokes that are in the trailer." It's like,
Yeah, I read this and I was worried about it because I was like, there's nothing worse than shoehorned comedy
yeah,
because you can sense it. You can sense it when you're watching it. But I'm not too worried about it because I don't feel like people would go to the bother of getting the sets back together, getting the costumes back together, getting everything set up again, just so fucking Harley Quinn can say something humorous at the end of a scene
Yeah.
that originally in the script she didn't say anything humorous in. I don't buy
yeah.
it. Also, I read a thing, one of these press releases saying no, it's we're not reshooting loads of comedy bits. We're doing normal reshoots, which every film does. Some of it
This is
happens
the
to be
thing. Like
funny.
Marvel does reshoots on all of their films, and people are like, "Oh my god, Suicide
Everyone
Squad's
does.
doing reshoots. They must hate it." It's like, well, Marvel did reshoots on Civil War. They did reshoots on everything.
Yeah.
Why, like, do you know what I mean? That's par for the course in comic book movies. Most movies. Do you know what I mean? I think they're just
Yeah.
going into figure that they didn't get right, or that maybe they want to add some shit. Maybe they will add a little bit
Yeah,
of comedy, but I
unless
don't
you've
think
no
it's
budget.
fucking. It's just the internet going mad and being like, "Oh my god, they're doing cause blah 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 blah." And you heard the rumors about them cancelling Justice League, right?
Well, I heard people talking about it being on shaky ground because of the poor response to Batman vs Superman, which
Yeah,
is kind of weird because I remember the first couple of days of it being out, it was breaking all kinds of records. It was breaking records, and the word of mouth was unanimously fucking negative. And I was like,
yeah.
how is it breaking all these records that everybody who's seeing it hates it? We're not getting the whole story here. Or if we are getting the whole story, then it means millions of people went to see this film without knowing anything about it, and they all came out and said we hate it. And then within the next few days, more and more millions of people went to see it, having heard it was crap.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me.
My thing is that what probably happened was critics didn't like it for the most part, but audiences went to see it and said, what are you talking about? This is a good movie. Now, there are people that didn't like it, and it did drop off quite a lot. I mean, it's a divisive film, but it's 800 million it's made so far since the 20. So in a month, it's made 800 million, and it made 400 million of that in like the first weekend. So it's not like it's not making money. People are saying, "Oh, it's a failure because it didn't get across a billion." Yeah, it didn't get across a billion. It's a little bit disappointing, but you know, they're not cancelling the rest of the films just because of that.
I'm just slightly worried about how all this hype, anti-hype, is going to affect the sequels, their Justice Leagues,
yeah.
what have you. Because I don't like it when film studios pay too much attention to online critiques.
Well, what I found interesting is everyone associated with Justice League and stuff like that has said, like, you know, Justice League is a much lighter film in tone, and it always has been. You know, Batman vs Superman is a dark movie because it's dealing with dark stuff and dark situations. But Justice League is a much not that it's a comedy film, but that it's got a lighter tone because you're talking about characters like the Flash, who's got these superpowers, but you know his mother died, but he's not this dark character that's always living in darkness. He's got people around that he loves. He's a happy character for the most part. You've got Green Lantern, who may or may not come into it, who's also like, you know, he's basically like a space police officer. You know what I mean? But he's also a happy character. Cyborg is, Cyborg's interesting. You know what I mean?
No, it's ridiculous to even entertain the idea that they want to cancel it because there's just too much hype. There's too much interest in it.
Yeah.
Literally, the worst thing that could have happened was the negative criticism would be an eye opener. That's all. That's literally all that would happen. And the film studio would say, "Oh, holy shit, this wasn't so good. We didn't make as much money as we hoped. I hope you guys have learned your lesson. Here's what the audience wants: less of this, more of this.
That's exactly what I'm hoping.
Less dream sequences. The audiences don't understand the dream sequences. Put them out.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally the worst thing that could happen. With all the hype for Justice League, there's no way it wasn't going to get made.
I'm annoyed at the marketing team. I think the marketing was really bad for Batman vs Superman. They basically showed the whole movie in the trailers. Like, I'm defending the film, saying the film's 2.5 hours long. They didn't show everything in the trailers. They didn't blah blah blah. But actually, I mean, every decent beat of the film was shown at some point. Part of it was shown in the trailer. So I mean, you were basically going, "Oh well, this is the part from the trailer where this happens." And I feel like
we didn't need to see Doomsday.
What I like, if they kept that under wraps, no Doomsday mention whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think people would have been so surprised, and people would have taken it a lot better. It's like the fact that Suicide Squad has released 2 trailers officially, and that leaked Comic-Con thing that they had to put up because everyone had seen it already with the bootleg version, so they're like, we may as well put the high def version up. They've released 2 trailers now where we still have no idea who the villain is. We know that the squad comes together to stop something, that the Joker's
Yeah.
in the movie. We don't know if he's in it while they're in the present, if they're flashbacks. Batman's in the movie. We don't know. I mean, we know that he rescues Harley Quinn at some point, but other than that, we don't know what's going on. And I'm hoping they keep it like that. That they show us a little bit, but they don't show any plot information. Show us cool things like, oh, look at this, look at this, look at
Yeah.
this, but
Are
no
you
cool
referring
things.
to the part where you see Batman diving into the water after Harley Quinn?
Yeah, yeah.
He might not be trying to save her. He could be trying to finish her off. Something could have happened to her, right? And she could have fallen into the water.
Yeah.
And Batman could have been watching and saying, you know what? I've seen too many movies to believe for 1 second that just because she fell into the water, she's dead. So he's swimming down to fucking
Yeah.
choke the life out of her. That's what I'm hoping, anyway.
I think that those scenes are flashbacks to before Batman started killing. And I am hoping that they make Batman not a murderer from now on. That was one thing that bothered me as I was watching the whole movie. I was like, oh, like he's a murderer now. He kills people. But then, you know, after the whole Superman thing, he kind of doesn't do that. But he kind of does when he shoots that guy's gas tank. But, you know, I figured that after Superman's death, that's when he really, you know, was like, I can't do this anymore. That kind of thing.
It always bothers me when people kind of try to put a label on somebody, saying Superman never kills, and that's why they hate him killing his lad so much. I always kind of said, how dare you? How dare you say Superman never kills? What the fuck do you know? Do you know what I mean? You don't know what he's going to do from one day to the next. Something might happen where he has to fucking kill somebody. And the same with Batman. When people excuse Batman killing in the movie because it's heavily hinted that the Joker has killed Robin, and in the comics, after that happens, Batman goes on a killing spree. He gets the bloodlust and what have you. So that's how I took it, and this one, that's why he's so trigger happy, is because he's this is an older, angrier Batman. But
he just doesn't
the
care.
idea that he's gonna go back to not killing again, I take that with a pinch of salt. Do you know what I mean? I reckon he's gonna kill when he has to, not kill when he doesn't.
Maybe. I mean, he kind of killed in the Nolan movies. Like, he didn't save Ra's al Ghul. He let him die on the train, which is indirect murder, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, not saving someone is just as bad as killing them, I guess. You know what I mean? You've got Harvey Dent, who he pushed off the side of the building and killed him.
Yeah, and nobody bats an eye.